Hey, Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, the great millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect. Just want to do a quick lesson. I hope it's edifying about a situation I just had at work. You know, no big deal, but basically a conversation. There's this guy at work here, you know, and I kind of made up my mind about this guy that I ain't like him, you know. Maybe some little minor stuff, you know, whatever. But sometimes you got to be careful doing that because you never really know. So, you know, even within the midst of that, I'm like, yeah, you know, I got to, you know what I mean, not be so quick to formulate opinions, you know, about people sometimes, man. You know, sometimes you just don't mess with people. You know, like the scripture says, what is that in Sirach? It says, receive no man against thy soul or something like that. Let me see. Let me grab that real quick, right? Sirach 4:22. Accept no person against thy soul. Right, you know, you can't force it. If you don't, you know, personalities don't click, they don't click. It says, and let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. Right, so somebody in a position of power, you know, you don't let them make you slip up and sacrifice your integrity, you know, just because you honoring their authority position. If they, you know, if right is right and wrong is wrong. But anyway, yeah, you know, this guy, you know, he ended up walking up to me just out of fucking nowhere. And he just get to telling me how he was, you know, we worked together. So he telling me how he, you know, he was an animation. I don't know what, you know, he was in animation. He, you know, he drew and designed cartoons. You know, he real good. You know, he went to a real hard school to get into or whatever over there in California. And he was in Hollywood working, you know, on this production, these cartoons that be on Netflix and all that. But he was like, you know, he was an atheist, you know, but the cartoons were so wicked. And they was from the JOOs, right? Those particular people that run the earth and see, you know, behind the scenes or whatever. And he say all his bosses was those particular people. And he said they worked for the devil. And he was like, you know, he basically was saying what we say from a world point of view without knowledge and understanding, you know, from a, you know, he's a so-called Christian, believe in Jesus. And, you know, he like, I ain't saying all of them. No, he's, you know, he's just being honest. He's being sincere, you know, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm kind of being how I'm being with it, you know how you are when you in the truth, you know, you Clark Kent, Superman and Clark Kent. So I'm trying my best to refrain, and I'm just trying to let him talk, and I'm trying to let him go. But he was saying so much stuff. He was right about so much stuff, and that's what he was really harping on. He was like, he was wrong about some things, you know, but you gotta let certain stuff fly. You know, just be off the handle, straight up correcting people on everything. So when he was wrong and said certain things, I let it fly, and when he was right, I just agreed, and you know, I kind of played the tell me more type of position. But he was just going in like, look, man, I was surrounded by the LGBTQ. It was 50 students. You know, in the prestigious art school he went to, he was like, and only 3 of us was out of the 50, only 3 of us were straight men. He was like, he over there in California, and it's supposed to be this liberal place, but he's like, they not liberal. He's like, he hated it there. And he said he was a professed atheist, but he said basically what he was dealing with over there led him to believe in God. You know, he said Jesus, and he was like, he just having conversations, and then, you know, I just brought up the mark of the beast to him, and I was like, look, you know, the mark of the beast, that's a chip, don't take that, basically. So we going back and forth, and then I just was compelled. I was telling him, because he was telling me what we preach. He's like, look, you got the Bible, you know how he a Jake, you know, he looked like a so-called white man, but his father is so-called black and his mother is so-called white. But you know how Jake is, when they talk, they got this position like they telling you something, you know, like they letting you in on something, you know, so I'm just listening. So he like, yeah, you know, the Bible written in 2 languages, you know, it's written in the Hebrew and the Greek, you know, this, that, and the third. So I went to the Greek when I when I told him about the mark. I'm like, look, it's charagma, it's this, is that. I ain't going to it, showing him on my phone, but I broke it down to him right then and there, and he like, oh, okay. So he brought up to me the Ezekiel 9:4. He brought that up to me. Now he couldn't quote it, but he was like, well, you got to be careful because the Bible is spiritual and physical. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, and that's the prophet's job to discern that. Amos 3:7, the Lord said, the Lord will do nothing, but he revealed his secret to his servants, the prophets. That's what Amos 3:7 say. Now, it's a prophet's job, and it's a prophet's positioning to know when it's physical and when it's spiritual. It ain't no private interpretation, to the scriptures. You don't interpret it to your savvy. That's what people do. They interpret it to their own savvy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna interpret it according to my comfortability. Yeah, this is what I'm comfortable with. But anyway, so he brought up the Ezekiel, and then I hit him. I gave him a little more, and he was in awe. He like, damn. He was wooed. But you never know who you're talking to, right? So I say about 20, so he left, right? So then 20 minutes later, he come to me, I think 20 minutes later, like in the time of he leaving, I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, the Wada Yahbashim Yahushai, Barakatah Yahbashim Yahushai, like, cause that was just spiritual. Like, I kind of had my mind made up about this dude. Like, man, I ain't fucking with this dude, but the spirit made him come over there and get to rapping with me. And then 20, 30 minutes later, I see him in the break room and he bring it back up. That's what he said. He's like, man, that's crazy, man. He's like, what's the odds of me coming over there talking to you about that and blah, blah, blah. He was like, man, he's like, you know what? I think that's called the Holy Spirit. He's like, yeah, the Spirit came over there and made me talk to you. I'm sitting there like, I'm just marveling within this. I'm like, wow, that shit, that's wild. Which stuff like that happen, that happened to brothers, that happened to brothers all the time, but still the shit is just wow, maybe it was an agent, maybe they sent them, but I don't think so. I don't think it was an agent. I think it was a sincere exchange, but anyway, I just wanted to do a quick lesson on that. And at the same time that Esau cutting things and hiding things, and he was still on that Jesus tip, but still though, at least he read. Hell, the average Christian, I ain't never heard no Christian saying about no Ezekiel 9, and to be honest, he was right. All right, because he was like, yeah, the Bible physical ends, and that's right. See, the mark in Revelation 13, that's physical. And the mark in Ezekiel 9 is spiritual. That word Thawah means exempt from judgment. And he went and actually looked it up. See, he went and actually looked it up. All right, because within that 20 minutes, he came back to me. He's like, yeah, man, I heard you quote it. And he was like, I went and looked it up. He was like, and you was right. He was like, he say, damn, man, you got basically like, you got photographic memory. We're like, what the hell? And I'm, of course, come on. We done went over Ezekiel 9 before. Come on, man. That come out then, every camp. Shit. So, hell yeah, I'm familiar with it 1,000 times over. But, I'm playing it cool, whatever. We ain't trying to go too far. You know what I'm saying? End up, Lord forbid, make my job situation tough because they find out I'm a black Hebrew Israelite and I'm a racist. That's a joke, by the way. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. So-called black people, so-called Latin people, and so-called white people makes up the 12 tribes of Israel, and amongst the people who we're scattered against because it's the seed of your father. He's a good example because he looked like a so-called white, like he looks like white passing. Like he can pass, but his father is a so-called Negro and his mother is white, So it's all about the seed of your father. But anyway, like I was saying earlier, Esau doing his campaign against the truth and against information but at the same time, the Most High is turning up the information to the rest of the hopeful elect. So, just my personal opinion, I can see pretty soon the large crowds coming to the camp to listen and hear and, you know, and ask questions and hell, and even to maybe scoff a little bit and then get converted, you know. But anyway, Lord willing, this was edifying to the hopeful elect. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekakudah,